Mito, Republic of Vietnam. Dear Mom and Dad, hi, how are you? I hope everything is fine at home. Me, I'm pretty good. Can't complain too much. To put you at ease about the mail, it took your letter mailed on the 20th, 4 days to get here, so that's not too bad. But the mail had to come through Saigon, which was forwarded to me from there. It was taking about 10 days. However, I got everything that I was supposed to get from Saigon, and I guess I'm all caught up in the mail right now. I guess I should tell you about some of the things that have happened. First of all, the trip out. The 10 days I spent in Honolulu were probably the 10 most relaxing days I've ever had in that area. It was really nice just to relax and go to the beach and swim and enjoy the sun and just have a good time. Of course, Jane, I think I told you that Jane's coming back to Cleveland. She has to have some sort of operation. I don't know what it is anymore. You know, some woman thing. And so she's going to go home and live at home so that, you know, she can be near her family. And she's going to get a transfer to Cleveland. And she should be back there sometime in June and July. I think it'd be really nice if you invited her for, you know, sometime during the summer to come over for a couple of days, because it doesn't cost her anything to fly. And I'm sure she'd like to come and visit, because I think she'd enjoy it, seeing Schuylkill again. And I'd enjoy having her over there. I think it'd be nice, because, I enjoy being with Jane, and she's leading the pack at the moment. I guess I should say more than that, I don't know. But I really feel a lot for her, and it was just the fact that I was coming over here for the year that probably things didn't develop any further than what they did. But I couldn't see getting tied down when I was coming over here, and I didn't know what was going to happen here. Anyway, spent the 10 days there. Was very fortunate to get a room at the BOQ in Pearl, and that helped me out considerably as far as finances went. They did a pretty good job. I wasn't supposed to stay there, but the BOQ manager said okay. Let me check the tape now. Well, the tape seems to be going okay. The next thing I guess I should tell you is about trip over from Hawaii. I was booked on what was called the embassy flight, and this is a Air Force plane, a C-141 Starlifter, which is the biggest one they got right now. And what this does is it flies around the world. Once a week it goes around the world. It leaves California and starts out there and goes to Honolulu. Then it goes to Guam, and then to Clark, and then to Saigon, and then continues around the world from there. It delivers embassy people to the various embassies throughout the world. Also, it delivers a lot of goods and things, you know, embassy pouches and stuff like that can't go by regular air. So anyway, the trip out took something like, let's see, it was 12 hours to Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines. And then we had it turned out to be a 25-hour layover there. We were supposed to have 18 hours layover, and then the pilots discovered after an hour, we took off at 8 o'clock in the morning, and after an hour out, the right engine, the number one engine, wasn't working right and losing oil, so we had to shut it down and turn around and come back. So anyway, we spent 25 hours in the Philippines and then came on to Saigon. Well, I got into Saigon, and first thing you do, you have to change your money over, because they're worried about the gold flow and all that business. Like, I really had a lot of money with me, something like $50 anyway. So I changed over the money, and I didn't see anybody around, so I walked over to this MP and I asked him if there was a Navy desk there. He said, yeah, there's at the other end of the building. So I gathered up my bags and walked all the way down there. Well, it turned out there was one guy there, third-class petty officer, and I asked him what I was supposed to do, who I was supposed to check in, and so forth and so on. He said, well, go out and get on that bus out there. So I went out and got on the bus and lugged my bags out there again, and pretty soon he comes out and gets in the bus and starts it up, and he's a bus driver too. So he drives me downtown to a place called the Annapolis Hotel, which is where all the Navy people that come into country check in. And from there I call down to NAV4V headquarters, and they send the car out to get me. Well, anyway, I get to NAV4V and I go in to see the personnel officer, and I break out my orders, and so he says, well, we don't know anything about you coming, and for another thing, we don't have a job like that was written in my orders. We don't have a job on the staff like that, so that's wrong, and we don't even know that you're supposed to be here, and so let me check into it and I'll let you know tomorrow. So he set me up with a hotel room in Saigon, downtown Saigon, for the night, which was really kind of bad. They had a bombing in the hotel the day before, where some guy came in and threw a satchel charge in there and blew the desk part away, and it was kind of bad. So the hotel was really run down. Terrible water. It's all limestone water, and the water that comes out of the pipes isn't fit to drink because the problems they've been having. So you have to truck the water in from someplace else and distill it and everything, and you get a little bottle in your room with you, and that's it, So anyway, but the bed was clean and everything else. So I stayed there for the night, and I think I woke up at 5 o'clock the next morning and went over to NAV4V headquarters and woke all those people up too. Anyway, I get over there, and about 9 o'clock the next morning, he decides to go check with the chief of staff, and comes back about 30 minutes later and says, well, you're going to Riv Div 111. So anyway, I say, okay, and where do I go and how do I get there? So they explained everything, and so I pick up my orders and away I go again. So after about a 6-hour truck ride in a 4.5-ton truck, I get to a place called Dong Tam, which is where the 9th Infantry Division is. And this is also where the Mobile Riverine Force has its headquarters. So I get there and find out that Riv Div 111 is living on one of the boats there. What is a barrack ship, like the stewards lived in down at the Naval Academy there when I was at the academy, an APL it's called, and it's a living ship. Anyway, they were living on board there, so I went over there and walked in on the guy I was supposed to relieve and said, hey, I'm here to relieve you, how you doing? Of course, he didn't know anything about it, and he was kind of, taken back by it all, so he quick gathered up his stuff and went out to the flagship, and I went along with him and talked to the chief of staff officer, who was Captain Booker, who Bill Borst said I should say hello to. Anyway, I got together with him, and he said, well, looks like you're going to be relieving his Riv Div 111. So anyway, here I am, and I was supposed to relieve the 21st, but they pushed that back a week to the 28th because the guy I'm relieving needed 7 more days to qualify for his command at sea. So I really couldn't object to that because I know how he felt, and it would be kind of bad to have to write off and get a waiver and everything. So I went along with it, and then I didn't have much choice, so I was ordered to do it. So I'll be relieving on the 28th. I'll have the boats about 17 days, and then we'll turn them over to the Vietnamese Navy. This is part of the turnover program where we're letting them do more and more of the fighting, and I guess it's rightly so, but what I've seen so far, they really aren't too competent little people. Anyway, more about that later. I might tell you about some of the boats we have. Basically, we have 3 types of boats. One's called a monitor type, and it either has a 105 millimeter howitzer on it, which is a pretty big gun, a 40 millimeter howitzer, 40 millimeter gun, or a flamethrower. And let's see, we got 5 of those attached to the division. And then we have what's called an attack transport carrier, which is where we carry the troops. And these are basically like, the type where the ramp goes up and down. I got 13 of those, and 7 assault boats, which are They're like little PT boats, but they're not as big as a PT boat, of course. And they're the high-speed jobs we have. We don't use them too much because they can't take the rocket hits. Anyway, I got about 25 boats and about 200 men, and what we do is we all live on these ships. There's about 6 ships here in the Mobile Riverine base, and we have infantry people right aboard with us here. And say we're going to go on an ops like we did today. We went over and picked them up at their ship. We have pontoons alongside the ships, so the boats tie up to these pontoons, and they load on the boats and everything. Well, we lifted 2 companies today, so we took them down the river into the Mekong Delta area, which is all rivers. It's really amazing. They have one road in this whole area. Everything else is done by boat. And this is their main mode of transportation here, is by boat. So anyway, we take these troops and put them on the beach, and then they sweep an area looking for the Charlie. If they find them, they'll drive them out to us or call in airstrike or an arty strike and try and get them. And what they try and do is make contact, of course. They always want to try and make contact with Charlie to keep him on the run. So anyway, then we bring them back to the ship after the ops is over. Usually the Army goes into the area for 3 days, and at the end of 3 days, then we go back and pick them up. So actually, all we are is glorified taxi drivers. But it's a pretty good little command and quite a bit of a responsibility, as you can probably say. I'd say, let's see, we have 2 howitzers, which can shoot a shell for, let's see, 7.5 miles. And we have 3 40-millimeter guns. Each boat has 1 20-millimeter and 2 50 calibers and 2 30 calibers. Plus the monitors have an 81-millimeter mortar on them too. So quite a bit of firepower under your command. And I'll tell you, when these things start shooting, just stand by. You really have to have a lot of admiration for this little Vietnamese guy out there that's shooting at you, because he usually gets 1 shot away, and after that it's just, you better pull your rear end in after you in the hole, because all hell's going to break loose. So to date, by the way, I've been in 4 firefights, and I've been on 2 boats that have been hit by rockets. These are Russian-made and Chinese-made rockets that they shoot at the boats, and today's came right through the rear end of it, and just missed a guy. One guy got hit with shrapnel, and the other guy was okay. It was kind of lucky. They had a fire in the boat, and I had to put that out. And so you really don't have too much time to think out there. It's pretty quick. Firefight lasted today. I think they fired 3 rockets at us, and we only hit 1. But still, no, it's enough to shake you up, and they can't kill you. It's pretty lethal little weapon. But anyway, you don't think about that. Kind of gives you, you look at it this way. If one has your name on it, I guess there's not much you're going to do about it. The man upstairs says it's your number, boy. I guess there's not too much you can do about it. But I'll try to keep my head down and do my job and see that everybody else gets home safe too. But anyway, we were pretty lucky today. And it's quite an experience, let me tell you, to see somebody shooting at you. It's different than anything you've ever faced before, I'll tell you that. Probably the hardest thing is just the waiting, He's the one that ambushes you, and he usually gets the first shot off. After that, it's all our side. And they know it. They get down in their little bunkers and shoot at us and then crawl under the ground and so forth and so on. So it's quite an experience, let me tell you. So anyway, I was telling you about our living conditions, which are really quite good. Most people in Vietnam live in little hooches, little huts, we call them hooches. And not air conditioned or anything like that. And let me tell you, it's really hot over here. It's not too bad right now. It's up in the 90, 95. Sometimes it gets to 100. But the humidity is so high because of the monsoon season. And it rains. It rains cats and dogs. And it usually rains once or twice a day. And it always seems that it rains at the time when I'm out in the boat. But it doesn't really matter. It cools things off a little bit and gives you a little break. as far as the heat. The sun is just unbelievably warm, so I don't anticipate having too much trouble losing any weight because you really sweat like mad. But anyway, of course, then you have a flak jacket on and a thing around your hips to protect your lower intestines and that stuff. So you're pretty well protected. The only thing that's out is your arms and your legs, of course, and you got a helmet on and all that. Man, I tell you, you ought to see me in my greens. It really looked like a train killer. But it really is pretty good protection that they give you. And let's see, what else do I have to tell you about it? Oh, well, Vietnam, the country itself, I don't know. It's kind of reminds me a lot of New Jersey, really. It's flat in this area anyway. It's flat, and it's got a lot of streams, as I said, and rivers, and rice paddies and things like this. They get 3 rice crops in the delta here, so it's pretty rich as far as the ground goes and everything. The people are really industrious, and funny thing about it, when you go in Saigon, everybody seems to have a paper under his arm or is reading a book, so they aren't dumb, and I got a lot of respect for him. You got to respect that guy out there that's shooting at you, because he's pestering you, and you got 100 times more firepower than he does, but he's still pestering you. Dong Tam, the base here, gets mortared about every night, so it's kind of unbelievable. You hear the red alert go out, and you just kind of roll over again and go back to sleep, because there's really no place you can go if it's gonna land on the APL there. It's gonna land on it. But the boats we live on here right now, I'm living on the USS Colleton, which is a self-propelled barrack ship, and it's quite good living. I have a stateroom with the chief of staff officer of the division. He and I share a stateroom. Actually, it's set up for 4 people, but it's only 2 of us here, and it's air conditioned, and the water's good. That's one thing I really have to say about it. I really enjoy the water, the fact that you can take a shower whenever you want to, and you don't have to worry about the water being bad. I was really kind of worried about that in Saigon, because you got to watch what you eat and drink, and I really worried about the water. I didn't want to drink too much of that water in there. But this water's good here, and of course, you got to take your malaria pill and have all your shots and everything up tight, so you got to keep healthy. Actually, I haven't been in too bad shape. I got a little sick. I guess the second day I was here, that was just because I didn't eat anything. I had missed, I think I went 2.5 days without anything to eat, so I didn't feel too good when I ate something. So I've been trying to average, I usually go in and have some breakfast and then have a dinner, have a late dinner, 6:30 or so. So I've been trying to do that and cut down on my eating, because really you aren't hungry. When we go out in the boats, the only thing there is sea rats, or what we have is a lorp, where you add water to it, and you either get chicken stew or rice and beef or something like that, and that gets old real quick. I usually go for the sea rats. Sea rations is my favorite dishes. Of course, you wouldn't believe it, but spaghetti. I like that. But if you eat a can of that, it feels like you sat down and had a 10-course meal, because it's so concentrated. And I usually have that and a can of fruit cocktail. So that'll be my dinner when I'm out in the field. Anyway, I usually don't try and eat too much for dinner, and have a pretty good breakfast, a couple eggs or something, and then a good dinner. Like tonight we had steak, and I had some noodles and a vegetable and a piece of watermelon. So it's not too bad. The living's real good. They have a movie every night. I've been playing poker too. Haven't done too good there, so I have to stop that because I haven't been able to draw. Anyway, as I said, you get a movie every night, and that with letter writing, and I was reading quite a bit, got some books and everything, so I've been keeping pretty busy. I think the year will go really quick. If it goes as quick as this first 2.5 weeks go, boy, really going to be busy, and time will pass before you know it. I hope you have access to one of these recorders. I really think this is a pretty good idea. It'll save a lot of money as far as phone bills goes. And also, I will be able to talk back and forth. It's a real nice way, I think, of sending letters back and forth. One thing I wanted to tell you, if you want to send a gift, or, not necessarily a gift, but a package of some sort, if you keep it under 5 pounds, it comes airmail the whole way, whether you pay airmail or not. from when it gets on the plane in San Francisco. It'll come airmail the whole way to me. So if you keep your packages under 5 pounds, and I really don't see what you're going to have to send above 5 pounds, they should come airmail. I'm going to send some stuff home. I have too many clothes over here, which I said I would when I talked to you before. So I'll send some stuff home. I'm going to send a parcel post, and I'm not going to really care when it gets there. It's not really too good, but what it is here, it should be cleaned and put away in a bag. Same thing with the stuff you get from Pearl now. You were talking in the letter that the stuff hadn't arrived yet. Well, don't get too excited about that until probably the end of June, because give them at least 60 days, and then maybe you should give Mechanicsburg, at that time, give Mechanicsburg a call and ask them about it. You got the paper at home there, so you can give them a call and reference that paper, the TCN on it and everything, the document number, so on and so on. They'll be able to help you with it. When you call Mechanicsburg, ask for the Household Effects Office, Household Effects, and they'll be able to tell you one way or the other whether it's there or where it is. They'll probably send a tracer on it if they don't have it. But I wait till the end of June for that. And I got Mom's letter here. I really don't have too much to say. Glad to see that the weather's improving and that got the Mother's Day card and flowers okay. Oh, one thing I'd like you to do is give a call and Jane's Flower Shop, anybody else in town, my address, it might, want it. Also the relation. I don't know whether they're going to write or not, but I really enjoyed having that little get-together we had, and I thought it was really nice and sounded pretty good. Well, I'm glad my car is running okay. As far as the car is concerned, if there's any repairs or anything like that have to be done to it, just let me know how much they are, and I'll, give you the money and everything like that, because I certainly don't expect you to take care of all that. That's my financial situation right now, and if you write a check, just drop me a note and let me know, how much it was for, and I'll try and keep books on this end, and you can keep them on that end too, because I might have to write a check for something, although I can't really foresee that, as I plan to use the money that I get paid with if I want to buy something, send it home to you, so just go ahead and let me know how much you write checks for so I can keep my books up here. Okay, what else can I talk about? I really don't know. I was glad to hear that you got that wall and steps fixed outside, but $400, boy, that really sounds like a lot of money. Plus the fact that you're probably going to sell the house soon. I think you ought to call Donnie Hawk up and talk to him about it, because he's a pretty fair guy. I don't think you're going to go wrong with him. He's a businessman. You probably have to watch him, but who don't you anymore? So I'm sure he'll give you a fair price for what you ask for it. And plus the fact that it's so darn big, and the place next door is really run down. I looked at that when I was home, and it really is in bad shape. So it's not helping your house having that place vacant. So I think you ought to give him a call and talk to him, and maybe you can come to an agreement with him and get an apartment or something like that. Although I personally don't think that you're going to like an apartment, but you might as well give it a try. If I was going to live, just two people, I think I'd buy one of those little trailers. And, they're pretty nice little things. Lynn Dalton, he's a friend of mine. He works out there at by Renninger's, across the way from Renninger's there. And he took me through a couple of those when I was home, and they're pretty nice. And got a real nice furniture. And for two people, I don't think you can beat them, really, if you have your plot of land someplace. That's another story, though. Get a plot of land, I imagine that would cost $300-400, and maybe even more in that area. I don't know how much land is. But anyway, it's something to think about, and, I wouldn't advise living there too much longer past this summer, because, every winter that you go through, the place next door takes away from your place, plus the heating bills and everything else, so I don't know. It's up to you. It's not my house, but if I were you, I'd get rid of it and get something else. Now here it is, Saturday night, 9 o'clock, and I'm laying in bed making a recording. Really exciting, isn't it? It's really funny. You asked me why I come over here and why I volunteered for this, but, this is my job. Believe it or not, it is.
even though I get shuffled around a little bit while I got here, I've seen some things so far that, you know, makes me see that there's really a purpose behind our being here. And some of the things, for example, they shot us some towns with kids and women running around where we couldn't shoot back, and you know, they've shot at us and missed us and hit somebody in a house or something like that. And it's pretty rough, you know. They really don't care about anybody else but themselves, their own goals, their own, you know. But I guess that's the way it is with everything. I've been reading in the newspaper, you know, we get Stars and Stripes every other day or so. Plus, I watch TV. There's a television station, believe it or not, in Saigon, Armed Forces Television. And some of these riots and things like that are just getting out of hand. I can't believe it. Something has to happen soon, or, you know, what the heck? What are we doing? What's our country coming to? It's really a big problem, it seems to me. I hope things have cooled down. I hope things have cooled down in Reading, and the place there is not as tense as it was when we were home. I really thought that was kind of hot down there, but I wasn't going to tell Dad that at the time because I wanted him to go to the movies. But that was so cute when you and Mother both fell asleep in the movies. Dad and I thought that was so funny. We really got a chuckle out of that. It was kind of interesting. But it was a nice evening out. I think our family should do that more often. It's nice to go out and enjoy yourself and, you know, together. I think the television probably broke.
Continue on the other side. I hope I have enough to make up another 30 minutes.
Talk, Michael.
Hello?
No, not talk into that, honey. Where's your microphone?
Hi, Daddy. Hey, Mama, my daddy isn't coming on.
That's because it's not a telephone. This is a tape recorder.
What's coming on?
Just you.
I want to hear something on.
Something on? You ready?
Yeah.
Just hold it right like that and sing.
I like cookies. I like the one that Daddy have fun a lot.
Okay, nice.
I like it. One man bad, he's having on God. One man bad, he's having on rock, and the rain came down. The flood came up and the rain came down. Yeah, Grandma Flag, I find a flag forever. P made your way to the umbrella, the home of freedom. Every heart flew for one wide and blue forever. And P made your way. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a bare shiny nose. If you ever saw him, you could look at it too. All up the other reindeers laughed and called him names. They didn't let poor Rudolph join a reindeer game. And one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, would you not obey what you got my tonight?